Okay, good morning. My name is Chris Caius. I am the Chair of the Administration Committee, and I'm calling this Kane County Administration Committee meeting to order on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. And can we have roll call, please?
Arroyo, Garcia, Gums,
Gums here.
David Young,
Here.
Kim Young, Juby,
Should be here.
Caius,
Vice President.
Roth. Even in-person quorum?
Okay, do we have any requests for remote attendance?
I guess Gums.
Gums,
No objections.
are you
I sent an
requesting?
email. Yeah, I
I'm
did
sorry?
send an email.
Yes, you are? Okay. Is there any objection to having
Objections.
Ms. Gums? Thank you. Seeing none. Approved. May I have a request to approve the minutes of February 11th, 2026?
Ask consent to put meeting minutes on.
Mr. Arroyo has asked for unanimous consent for the approval of minutes from February 11th, 2026. Is there any objections or any changes? Seeing none, minutes are approved. Public comment, I have Mr. David Young.
David Young, complaint for violation of First Amendment rights. This is a civil rights action seeking redress for violations of plaintiffs' First Amendment rights. During a public comment period at a Kane County Board meeting, plaintiff expressed views protected by the First Amendment. Soon after, Chris Caius, an elected Kane County Board member, attempted to suppress, retaliate against, and chill plaintiff's protected expression. Caius used his official government email account to mobilize citizens to publicly oppose plaintiff's viewpoints, encourage others to publicly oppose the plaintiff by labeling his viewpoints as hate speech, and threaten political retaliation. These actions constitute unlawful viewpoint discrimination and unconstitutional retaliation against protected speech. Government officials may not coerce or pressure others to suppress disfavored views, nor may they use state authority to stifle protected speech. Caius's conduct violated clearly established First Amendment principles, including that the government cannot abridge, target, or retaliate against speech based on its content or viewpoint. Government officials may not regulate or chill private speech, and threats or coercive efforts to influence speech are unconstitutional. There is case law that supports civil rights action against an elected official. Bennett versus Hendricks involved citizens who spoke out against the sheriff's policies and election campaign, after which the sheriff and his deputies allegedly harassed the plaintiffs and encouraged others to act against the plaintiffs in retaliation of their protected speech. The 11th Circuit held that these actions constituted adverse action under the First Amendment because it would deter a person of ordinary firmness from exercising free speech rights. The plaintiffs initially were awarded $3.6 million. 42 U.S. Code Section 1983 is a federal civil rights statute that allows individuals to sue state or local government officials for violating their constitutional rights. The U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division handles these types of complaints.
All right. And thank you. Mr. Steve Leffler.
Steve Leffler, St. Charles. Shakespeare wrote, "Discretion is the better part of valor." I could see that we could use some of that wisdom at this time. Sometimes we have the right to go about and say things, but sometimes it's wiser not to say them. I personally have looked at some of the chairs up here and thought, maybe I could do this job one day. But I've also thought, not if I'm going to get sued for $500,000. Doesn't make sense to take that risk. I'm retired, living comfortably. Why would I do this? And so a guy like me who's I think I'm a reasonable, moderate voice, might not want to get involved. And instead we end up with folks from the fringes. I don't think that's a good way for us to govern. Let's pull it back together. Remember, we're all Americans and that we need to come together for a purpose for all the folks that we represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Item 6, financial reports. I believe the finance reports are on file. Questions, you can talk to our financial person. Then on to executive director's report. Mr. Fonstock?
Good morning, Roger Fonstock with IT and Building Management. We do have several items that are going to require discussion later in the agenda. But I wanted to point out that we updated the 2026 committee goals per the committee's consensus. So those are on your packet now. If you see anything that you think is out of place or needs updating, or if you'd like to discuss modifying the goals, we'd be happy to work with you on that. The discussions that we have, one, yesterday you had the sealed bid opening per Illinois statute for farmland. It is going to be a motion later for the resolution, which we do need pursuant to the state's attorney's office to change it to an ordinance. But that farm lease is basically something that we brought forward because without maintaining the property or 20 acres for the season, farming is the next best answer. And I know the price per acre may seem low, but the reality is that it's the alternate, which is maintaining it ourselves, which would cost us considerable amount of money, is probably our bigger concern. And then you have the statutory process of what you have to do in order to maintain it or to farm it. So we'll be discussing that. We do have a discussion for the 250th anniversary and the Daughters of the American Revolution Heritage Elm Tree. That's on for new business. And then under old business, we have an update briefly for the policies and procedures for the disposition and sale of county property. And we have a lot of requests to use our facilities and property. So I will defer any other comments myself until we get to those discussions, and you can have any questions, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Then on to building management, Mr. Kevin Harris. I'll go ahead and introduce the resolution. I will. Oh, sorry. Oh. I will introduce the resolution and then you can speak to it. Is that okay? All right. Well, then I would ask for a motion for a resolution authorizing the purchase of products or services through Amazon Business Online Marketplace for the Building Management Department, contract number R-TC-17006 on page 17, TMP 26-353 for $150,000 per year through January of 2028. Moved by
Gums will move it.
Gums, second by
Russ.
Arroyo. Moved and seconded. Mr. Harris?
Yes, this is Kevin Harris, Building Management. This is a contract extension that allows us to purchase some of our janitorial, building management, and printing supplies. The rest, I think, is pretty straightforward.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Harris? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
I.
Caius.
Guys, yes. Motion passes. Item B, I would ask for a presentation of a resolution for to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a farmland lease and license of parcel 0932300013 located at the northeast corner of Route 38 and Peck Road. And that is the attached item, I believe, that was just passed out. the literature behind that. That is on page, the resolution is on page 28 and also just passed out 26-357, and there's no effect on the general fund for that. And that could be moved by
Young.
Royal move.
Young, second by
Royal second.
Arroyo.
So.
Roger Fonstock will.
Oh,
I will
Mr.
take this.
Fonstalk?
Yeah, this is Roger Fonstock again with IT and Buildings. So you have in front of you a packet that was handed out, and we do need to make one small change from the title that was in the packet. We have Steve Ford from the State's Attorney's Office is here with us. He drafted the ordinance, so it needs to be changed from a resolution to an ordinance according to the State's Attorney's Office. We've been working with the State's Attorney's Office on this for several months now. There was a statutory change about how the county can do the leasing or licensing of farmland. I believe it was in 23. I don't know, Steve could probably give us the exact date, but so when they changed that, there was a requirement that you do a public sealed bid and opening it at a county board meeting, which is what you witnessed yesterday. So we solicited for bids for the 20 acres. It's just north of the Judicial Center, just north of Route 38. It's an open field that's the last 5 years have been farmed by a gentleman out of Elburn. During the bid process, we solicited, I believe it's over 40 farmers from the Forest Preserve's bench of farmers that are farming land for the Forest Preserve. So we sent it out to all of them. And the existing incumbent farmer. The due date was yesterday at 9 a.m. They received one bid out of all of the farmers. The incumbent that had done it expressed that he didn't have interest in it any longer. It's just too difficult for him to get to and not profitable, is what I understood. So we received one bid. The bid was $75 per acre per year, which is $1,500 per year for a 5-year lease. So $1,500 a year for 5 years, $7,500 total. And I sent out an email message just kind of explaining how this benefits the county because of the short notice. I sent it out blind carbon copy, so each of you should have received that. I apologize, we only had a day, but the substance of that message was that if we don't have someone farming it, tilling it, planting it, harvesting it, we need to maintain it, and it will become weeds, and vegetation will grow, and we would incur probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000 or $5,000 to cut 20 acres of property maybe 4 times during the season. So you might spend $15,000 just keeping the brush out of it. It does adjoin Route 38 and Peck Road, and there's houses to the north of it. So we would need to maintain it. This is one way we can maintain it economically, and a local farmer will get to benefit from leasing land to farm. So we're recommending approval. The purchasing department, Tim Kavanisek and Tom Laird, reviewed this with us. Steve Ford is here. He reviewed this with us. We're recommending the lease to Jeff, and I apologize, his last name is Lazinski, I believe. But we're recommending the 5-year lease for $1,500 a year, $7,500 total. There is an attached copy of the synopsis, which only has his one entry. And then we did work with the State's Attorney's Office and Steve Ford to draft a new lease or license agreement for this. The previous agreement was kind of an acceptance of the bid price, and the new agreement has, I think, better terms for the county. It just stipulates that we don't want people storing materials and equipment, and we don't want them to change or alter the property. It also stipulates some things about not destroying things or cutting down trees or property. But I think it protects us a little bit better. And then we also had a termination clause with notice. I believe the notice is 90 days. Yeah, it's 90 days written notice. So if we wanted to change use of it, I imagine we'd issue 90-day notice and give them time to get whatever they have out of the fields. And then we would basically take back ownership, return any money that was accepted in lieu of terminating the lease. But those are the types of things that we think the new license or lease would protect us from. So at this time, if we want to move forward, we probably need a motion to amend the current resolution that's on the agenda packet to an ordinance and adopt the one that is handed out today, which is basically changing it from resolution to an ordinance, defining the $1,500 a year payment and $7,500 total contract to Jeff Lazinski pursuant to the bid, which was 26-019. So we just need a motion and a second.
Okay, so a motion to amend from a resolution to an ordinance and to adopt the language that was in the handout.
Arroyo moves.
That moved by Arroyo,
Juby seconds.
Juby second. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Juby.
So on this 90-day termination, is that after we approve this or at any time we can terminate? Because I'm a little concerned that if we decide to terminate in May, they won't be able to vacate their crop. And I just want to make sure that whatever they plant is protected if they're not, I mean, obviously, if they're violating the terms of the agreement, we can terminate, but I just want to, the growing season doesn't go on the calendar like that.
We
Mr.
could-
Chairman,
Mr. Yes, State's
yeah,
Attorney.
Shepro, there is an obscure doctrine known as Estovers, which provides that when a farmer has planted a crop, even if the lease is terminated, he retains the right to harvest his crop.
Okay, so does that supersedes our lease then?
Yes. Common
Could
law
change
doctrine, yeah.
the timeframe to 180 days.
Yeah,
I don't think it
whatever.
matters to us really.
No, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that we weren't having an unreasonable expectation
I agree.
of having the property back within 90 days.
Protect the farmer a little bit, yeah. Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, certainly we could amend. So the ordinance, if adopted, provides that the agreement that Madam Chair would enter into is based on the terms and conditions of what's attached. So there's a couple ways the board could give direction to provide for a longer termination period. And then we can work with staff to make sure that that's in the agreement that's signed. Separately, you could do a formal amendment to amend that document, but either way, I think that's a good idea and something that can easily be put into the draft to provide for 180 days of
My
notice.
question first, can we just pass it on the way it is and with instructions to modify it per your language then? Does that sound reasonable or?
You have an amendment on the floor. I don't believe you can amend an amendment.
Okay,
So if you pass if you agree to amend what's in front of you now with what's been substituted, you can then further amend to put in.
do we
the
want to go through all
substitution.
that today?
Just to-
Oh, can we just withdraw the
Mr. Chair
motion?
Gums,
Gums?
quick question, just based on our ASA's, I can't remember, what was it called, doctrine?
Yes.
It sounds like that's already covered, so I don't know that we need to add anything. Is that accurate? I mean, I'm looking it up right now. It seems to be a pretty
well-
standard thing.
Estovers.
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 I think
I think Mr. Ford's suggestion would be good to put it in the language rather
Okay.
than merely rely on
Thing.
an obscure medieval.
Common
legal
law
So-
thing, I think is
Can
what you said, yeah.
amend the motion?
Well,
a second?
we'll take a vote
Chairman?
on the amendment then?
Mr. Chairman, does withdraw the motion or just make a new amendment?
Well, we still need that amendment.
We can leave the amendment and then amend the amendment. Let's just go
Yeah.
for that right now. Roll call to, just go ahead. Thanks, Mr. Young.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes. No, wait.
Yes.
What's the recommended vote here?
The ordinance
Yes,
title.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes,
gonna
yes,
amend it
yes.
again.
Yeah.
I do want to add Sonia
Amendment.
Garcia signed online. Are we allowing her in to vote?
Yes, Ms. Garcia, are you available for
No
voting?
objection.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, then with no objection, then you're allowed.
Garcia. Garcia, did you want to vote on it? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes.
Amended?
The motion is amended to an ordinance, and this is the ordinance. Now, I would entertain a motion to amend the ordinance to read, or
I think to accomplish what the committee wants, I'd recommend just a motion to amend the Exhibit A to provide for an 180-day termination language. Then we'll make sure it's in the agreement going forward.
does that sound reasonable? 180 days?
Gums will so move that amendment.
Just a minute before you move, I'm gonna-
there's a problem because it's only when the crop is planted. So if you have 180 days, if we try to terminate in January, we're stuck until after.
That would be my
the
concern as
season.
well. I mean,
So
putting
you
any
want to
calendar
word it
date
in
on
such a way that if a crop is planted, they get to finish that up. or
Doesn't
what-
have a crop in January in the ground.
Well, that's what I mean, but if
Well, just a minute, well, I'm not catching all of this stuff here, so.
if you change it just based off of
Suggesting to
days.
change it for a crop year as opposed to a random 180 days. You said that was not,
I said that a farmer's not going to have a crop in the ground in January, February, and March.
Right, and I agree, but if you.
so how do we
state-
modify that? I'm not allowing you to do that.
I just threw it
Speak for
out.
me,
You guys-
okay. Then Mr. Ford,
If I can offer a suggestion, to allow this to move forward, the committee could entertain a motion to amend the ordained clause to add, after the words Exhibit A, subject to the review and advisement of the state's attorney's office, that will allow us to fully research this, account for all the possibilities, and then throughout the process, we'll be able to craft language that I think addresses these concerns.
I'm liking that. Are we getting some nods here? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to amend this as per your language. Did you get that, Savannah? I was typing like, I apologize. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Great. She's so good. So I will entertain a motion to,
I'll make the motion.
okay, Mr. Young.
I'll
moves.
second.
Juby seconds. That's the second amendment of the amendment. And Juby. All righty. Any discussion, further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Yes. So we amended. Now we're going to go for the full vote. Any other questions on passing this now ordinance?
Question.
Was that a question or a no question?
Call the question.
Oh, well, that's what I'm doing. So if there's no other discussion, then we'll do the question. Thank you. Thanks for the instruction, though.
one question, is this moving to finance or exec?
I believe it would go to executive committee, but
Exec, I believe there's no expenditure of
there is-
funds.
it's budgeted as revenue in our budget.
Okay.
But we need a new lease.
Thank you. Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Then may I have a motion and a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing contract extension for Kane County Plumbing Maintenance and Repair Services with Key Construction Group Incorporated, Hartwig Mechanical Incorporated, and RJ O'Neill Incorporated for the Kane County Building Management Department, bid number 23-001, which is $1 million per year for 1 year, page 29, on page 29. And that is TMP 26-361, moved by
Gums will move it.
Dums, second by
Juby.
Juby. And that you, Mr. Harris?
Yes, Kevin Harris, Building Management. So similar to the first one, this is a contract extension for these three vendors. They do work that we do not have the skill sets to do. Primarily what I call pipe fitting work is what you'll see in the trades. They work on our chiller systems, our boiler and steam pressure systems, heat exchangers, central mechanical rooms, as well as compressed air systems and especially piping systems. So they do the repairs or maintenance and installations as we need them to do them. We use them on an as-needed basis, and it's been very effective.
That's up to 1 million a year. Okay.
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Harris?
I just have a question.
Yes, Ms. Juby.
How do we determine which one we call, or is it whoever's available?
Some companies have different skill sets and availability, so it depends on what's needed. So for example, some are better at chiller and boiler systems, or some are far better at doing compressed air. And then second, it's around if we have an emergency, it's who's available. But usually we can get these scheduled.
Great. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia.
Yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
Young.
Yes.
Juby.
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing purchase of mailing and postage equipment and technology for the Building Management Department contract number 070125-PIT. It's 26, TMP 26-369 for 1 million a year for 1 year, I believe. Okay, moved by
Young.
Young, second by Juby.
Yes, this is me as well. So Kevin Harris, Building Management. So this is so we can support the county and the mailing through Pitney Bowes. And so especially important during an election year, we have quite a bit of mailings going out through different organizations, the county clerk and other places. This includes things such as, but not limited to, address verifications, ballots, those kinds of things. And so we will be doing this through Pitney Bowes, who we've used before, but this is through the Sourcewell contract, and Sourcewell has rebid this competitively, and this allows us to continue to do this. I'm sorry, this is not an extension. This is new for us, but we have used Pitney Bowes in the past.
Okay, any questions? Mr. Young?
David Young. So does that mean that the Kane County owns this equipment, or you're leasing the equipment, or? You said.
This is mainly postage, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not so much really buying of equipment. Roger also had his hand up.
So Pitney Bowes will set up like an ACH account for us to deposit money into, and they use that for their pre-sorted mail and postage. So we replenish that account to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars during election cycles. And then we also do mailings for things like property taxes and other things. So anytime you mail all parcels, it's over 200,000 pieces of mail. And depending on the size and weight, it can cost up to, $1, $1.50. Pre-sorted, we get a little bit better deal, but that's the nature of the cycle. So it's just replenishing that. And then if we need new equipment, they do have equipment for the postage metering equipment. We don't need the equipment right now, but if we needed it, they could supply that too under this contract.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Arroyo.
Oh, yes.
Garcia. Ms. Garcia.
Yes, I'm sorry, I have trouble connecting. Yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
Young.
Yes.
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. Motion passes. Then on to information technology. I may have a motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing expenditure of funds for computer hardware and services with Insight Public Sector through Omnia contract number 23-6692-03. Moved by Arroyo, second by
Juby.
Juby. And then this is Mr. Charles Lasky.
Yes, good morning. This is Charles Lasky with the IT department. So this resolution, we have two of them that are back to back. One is related to computer hardware, and the second one that's going to be coming up is related to computer software. They're both through the same contract, but we separated them based on what we have budgeted for hardware and software within our budget, both the IT budget, capital budget, and some of the special revenue budgets. We utilize this to get pricing based on the contract. We also will reach out to other vendors, so we don't always go with Omnia, depending on the other pricing we get, but it gives us an option. I don't know if you recall the Presidio resolution we passed maybe in December November. That's also a contract that we'd use for pricing. That was through the state. So we utilize these to find the best pricing we can for the county and take advantage of the discounts they bid out. So these are budget expenses. We would recommend approval.
Okay, and I forgot to mention, it's on page 74, TMP 26-319 for 1.2 million up to or less than. So any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Arroyo, Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Great, motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing expenditure of funds for computer software and services with Insight Public Sector through Omnia contract number 23-6692-03, which is on page 87, it's TMP 26-321 for 900,000 per year. Moved by
Young.
Young, second by Arroyo.
Yeah.
And then that's Mr. Lasky again.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, this is the software part of that contract. So this is all for budgeted expenses. And we do utilize this in a similar way in terms of trying to get the best price we can for the county on these products.
Any questions for Mr. Lasky? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Roy, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing purchase of documents and records management with Laserfish through Omnia for the Information Technologies Department, contract number 01-158 on page 100, which is the TMP 26-326 for 150,000 per year and goes through November of 26, I believe. Moved by
Gums will move it.
Gums, second by somebody,
Arroyo.
Arroyo. Mr. Lasky?
Yes, this resolution is to authorize a contract for our Laserfish product. Laserfish is what we use for our records management. So the county clerk's office stores resolutions, ordinances in the system. It's kind of the main records management system for anything that doesn't fall under a specific system like the sheriff system, their court system. We also utilize this for our online forms. So it's been very helpful with our ADA compliance, creating forms there to eliminate some of the forms that aren't compliant that were done in Adobe or other products. We've used this product for many years. And so this extension they're doing with Omni allows us to continue to use this through them, getting the discounted price. So this is budgeted. Some of this is paid through from riverboats and some of it's paid through other county funds. So we would recommend approval.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Lasky? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Arroyo, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Guys, yes. Motion passes. May I have motion and second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of technology products, solutions, and related services for the Information Technology Department, contract number 23-6692-01. That's on page 149, TMP 26-338 for 100,000 per year through 2028. Moved by
Gums will move it.
Arroyo and seconded by Gums.
This is another resolution related to purchasing computer software and hardware. Carasoft has had certain products that have been better priced than other options we looked at. We do use them for one of our security products. So this resolution allows us to continue to use that and to purchase those products at a price that is advantageous to the county. This is for a budget expense. We would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Lasky? Roll call, please.
Arroyo, Garcia, Ms. Garcia, Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Motion passes. And item E, may I have a motion and second to present, potentially approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of products and services through Amazon Business Online Marketplace for, excuse me, the Information Technology Department contract number RTC 17006 on page 218, TMP 26-345 for $250,000 per year. You may have noticed in the exec summary, there's a discrepancy. We'll change that Scribner's error to read at $250,000 to be consistent with the other listing of $250,000 throughout the resolution. Moved by
Ramos.
Arroyo, second by
Young.
Young, excuse me.
All right, this is another contract to allow us to buy products. When we're buying products, we do check various vendors, and Amazon often is a better price for some of the smaller one-off things. Sometimes they also can compete on some larger purchases. So having this resolution in place allows us to make those purchases when Amazon provides the best price for the county. So again, these dollar amounts, I do want to clarify, some of these dollar amounts overlap with each other. So we're not saying this is all 250,000 would be spent with Amazon, but we have that option to go up to that to cover our expenses. So if we spend more with Amazon, that means we may spend less on some of these other ones. So we do it all based on price. So I do want to clarify that. So it is all budgeted, but we do stay within our budget and use these to get the best price we can for the county.
Any questions? Mr. Young?
David Young, what kind of products would you buy through Amazon? Just curious.
So we bought power strips. So we need power strips. We're doing a computer PC replacement. There's an iPad that was needed for the department, and Amazon was the best price for that. We've various cables, HDMI cables, power cables. We've purchased laptops when we need a laptop, and they've been the best price. So it's a variety of equipment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And then Mr. Fonstock, do you have?
One of the other things I would point out is we actually are kind of the central purchasing point for all the offices and departments. So we buy for the judiciary, the state's attorney, the sheriff's office. So it's not just the computing that we do in the general fund in the departments. It's across the board for 1,500 users. So that's the kind of scale of it when they need something.
Go ahead.
David
finish
Young,
that
just a
there. Yeah.
random thought. I mean, AI is becoming so powerful. You could almost just plug that into AI and say which one of these
Yes.
people that we have a contract with, where I'm buying a ThinkPad part number 123. I mean, this is easy now. So thank you.
Being replaced.
That's good.
And then,
No, that's good.
no, any other,
It's good assist.
Mr. Roth?
Question, if we're ordering for judicial, do we do a chargeback or it's all under IT budget?
So most of what we are purchasing is under the IT budget. So we budget for PC replacements.
Right.
There are expenses that some offices and departments incur where they budget something separately or they have a grant. And sometimes we make that purchase for them and then there's a chargeback because they have special funds to cover it.
Okay.
But most of what we're budgeting for is covered under IT for the general fund to cover those offices
And
and
because we have
departments.
one account, we get a bigger discount hopefully on some of that too. right?
Yeah, and we try to buy when we can in large quantities and leverage discounts for
buying
high
power,
quantities.
yeah.
So, yeah, we try to buy our PC orders,
Right.
in one group for the gear. So
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
Oh, yes.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
Juby, I.
Caius.
Yes. Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution approving accessibility efforts related to the County of Kane website and agendas for the Kane County Board and its committees. That's on page 229. It's TMP 26-359 and does not have an effect on the general fund as expressed. Mr. Lasky? Or no,
Gums
actually, a
will move
motion
it.
and a second. Juby moves? Was it, or who said?
Gums.
Oh, Gums, sorry. Gums.
I'll second.
Motion Gums. And Juby. Thank you.
To go, Jimmy.
Just say, go, Charles. Sorry about that.
So we've been spending a lot of time working through how to handle these new ADA compliance. We spent a lot of time talking with the state's attorney's office and going through things. Adam Tedder was going to be here today. He ran a little car trouble. He had some tire trouble on the way here, so he was going to be here to answer questions. But as we were going through this, one of the areas that came up as a concern was our agenda packets. So we met with Madam Chair and the county board office talking about the various options for how to address this, looked at the resources we have, looked at what we get in the packet. I mean, I printed today's packet, and just for this committee, you have a huge stack.
Yeah.
And a lot of what's in that packet is documents that we don't create. So one of the challenges we have with meeting this ADA compliance is what we put on our website needs to be compliant, but often what's in these packets, we're not creating. So we can't create it to be compliant from the beginning. It's a lot of contracts that are being put in here, scanned documents that come over maybe just as an image file. They don't have OCR. So after meeting and talking through options, this resolution kind of lays out what we came up with is probably the best possible plan, at least at this point in time, to try to address this and be within compliance. And then going on from here, we would look at if there's other things we can do to address some other concerns. So what this resolution would do is it would create the standard that the new packet that goes out that's posted online would not be the full packet with all supporting documentation. So what it would be on Legistar, there's a agenda. So you'd have the regular agenda listing. That's the multiple, just few pages. Then there'd be an ADA one that's created by Legistar that would work well with screen readers. And then you'd have links that would take you to actual resolutions and ordinances within Legistar. And there'd be a link to the executive summary, but the other documents would not be posted online because we can't confirm that they're compliant. We don't have the resources right now to do that. We would still have a board packet that'd be created for the board members, so you would still get your full packet with all supporting documentation for you to review to make your decisions for these meetings. So that's kind of an overview. Steve Ford is here and he can also answer other questions, but that's an overview. So I figure if you have any other questions, we can kind of go through those.
Ms. Juby, I see that hand creeping up there.
Well, I wanted to let him finish, So you're saying that we as board members will still have all the available information. Will that mean that we will then have a different link than someone else will to be able to access it?
Yeah, so what would occur is on our website, there'd be a link to the agenda with the ADA compliant. It would basically, we'd link to the Legistar functionality on that system. It would have the ADA compliant agenda and then the agenda, which would have links within it. And then we'd have the minutes. But the packet that'd be created for board members would be saved in a completely different spot that wouldn't be publicly accessible. So you'd receive an email similar to what you do now to a link where you can go download it. But it would be, it would not be posted anywhere on the public
And
website.
it may require you to log in too. So to get to that link, are you going to have it open?
No, right now,
You have it open?
yeah, we're gonna have it open because we're trying to keep this as simple for board members as possible, not to have something else for you to have another username, login, password. So that it would just be a link to a shared location that board members can access.
Oh, okay. So then my question is, what do we do about pagination? So when I link the one, because I am a rare board member that I read everything in that packet.
Yeah.
So when I link what page it is, it's not going to line up to the public facing document. So how do we handle that?
So the public facing document would just be the first few pages. So they would not have a link to look at. They would have to be in the agenda and click on the resolution you're talking about to link to it. Now, what will be displayed on the screen in here will be the same full packet that you're receiving. So
Okay.
Blair will still
So
display the.
Blair will have the one that has all the documentation.
Yes.
Okay. And then if I understand correctly from the summary, all of the other information that will not be currently available to the general public because it's not ADA compliant is available through FOIA.
Yes, it'll be available for FOIA. There'll also be a printed copy, as I understand it.
So we will
available
have
for
an
the public
eyes only copy.
to look at.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Michelle Gums, you have your hand?
I just lowered my hand because it was
Okay.
answered.
Mr. Young?
David Young, when will this be going into effect?
So the law goes into effect on April 24th.
Oh. Wow. Next month.
Yes.
Okay, any questions then, Madam Chair?
Thank you, thank you. Just a remembrance during our conversation.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
microphone, please.
Hi, is that better? There we go.
Yeah.
I believe when we discussed the issue of public being able to see the documents, we mentioned that there may possibly be a printed copy available that would be either at the county board office or the clerk's office, so that the public, if they want to see a contract, whatnot, would have the opportunity to physically go in and to be able to read it, like a library, lending library. Is that still something we're considering?
Yes, my understanding that's still the plan. So that would be pretty much whatever you could, once Savannah has created that final agenda and packet, that could be printed off at that point and put on display. It won't be available until after everything's created.
Correct.
So
Correct.
won't
Yeah.
be well in advance, because often these are finished up like on a Friday for a
Well, just very
Tuesday.
much like we have today. I mean, things are being
Yep.
brought in, but nothing gets discussed, finalized until the full board meeting anyway, it gets passed through. So if there's a issue, they'll have time.
I'm getting nods here. I'm going to do, Roger, for
Oh,
some explanation possible. Mr. Fonstock?
One other challenge that will come up is presentations that are rendered in PowerPoint or PDF or other things. Publishing them online may be a challenge as well. If you get something that is not ADA and you're trying to put that into some place for public consumption, we have some of the same challenges. I just want, it extends to the presentations as well. So if somebody brings in a presentation from outside and they present it, posting it to the website may also be a challenge for us to get that compliant, because it's someone else's work and it needs to have all the proper tags and all the ADA compliance. So we can try to go back and forth with them to get a compliant document, but we could also post the presentations privately for the board members and make them available through the board office or the clerk as well. So, but it presents a similar challenge. Some of the things that get walked in at the last minute and presented and then we post them, that will be a little bit disruptive. I think you can't just do that.
Okay, and I see you have your hand back up, Michelle?
I do, thank you. I'm a little confused, and I just want to round back to, for the public's consumption, I believe that what I'm hearing is this law indicates that we have to do something different, which we're now navigating. And this isn't, eventually you'll navigate it to perfect that ADA compliant thing. They're still going to have access to the information. I think that's a huge concern that they're thinking right now while they're sitting there is, can we still see everything? It'll just be a different section that's made available, correct?
For the board members.
For Charles. For the public. So for the public, they'll still have access to it. They'll be able to see it, all of those things. And then eventually we're going to get to that point where we can navigate the compliance and it'll be a wonderful link and everything will be beautiful.
So at this point, I can't make any commitment that we'd be able to create a full packet that would be compliant based on the way we currently receive information, where the information comes from, and that we don't control the information. We are working on things. We are looking at products that can help maybe convert files. So far, testing of those has not been promising. They're expensive, and some will say we can get you 90% there. And my question was, well, is 90% compliant enough, or does that have to be 100%? And those are answers that we don't really have. So we'll continue to look for ways to get this information to be able to be fully out there. But at this point, we have not found a way to do that. And I have another demo with somebody tomorrow on another product that seems promising, but again, until we look at it, I'm not sure if we'll get to that point. But the information will be available, just not through a link on the website. So as we said, there could be a request. We're allowed to email out information that falls under a different kind of rule related to this. This is what we're publishing. So, and then again, having a copy in person. I know that's not as convenient for somebody to drive in to look at something, but we're trying to figure out ways to make it available and still follow through with what we need to based on this DOJ rule that was created.
Thank you. And Charles, the only reason I asked for clarity on that is because I'm sure everybody in the public's going, oh, they're trying to keep stuff from us, and that's absolutely not the case. And I just wanted you to articulate that to them. So it's not lovely, but
No,
I guess we could thank the
I would be very
DOJ.
happy. Yeah, I'd be very happy if we did not have to go through all this. But I also understand the reason they're doing it, and they want to make sure that information is accessible. I think the kind of side effect from this, of talking with different counties and individuals, is now instead of being able to find a way to get all the information compliant so everybody has access, what's happening, and similar to what we're doing, is we have to display less information because of this. So that way everybody gets equal information. But again, hopefully we can find some ways to address this, but right now, I have not found any way to do it yet, and but we'll continue to work on it and see what we can do.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Mr. Roth was next.
Roth here. I would recommend you avoid the paper copies because that's going to be a pile of lots of paper you're not going to be able to find. Similar to how we're getting access to a unique portal that's not public facing, you could have like a terminal or that has access to that at certain locations. So it's controlled when the office is closed. They can't get to it.
Well-
They tend to have that at the library, where they have special portals. And then if you want to print, then you pay for the paper or because there is law in place for nonprofits. You have to provide, I forget how many years of tax returns, but if public wants it, they can get charged for getting the copies.
And Madam, well, on the committee, thank you. You can take that offline with Charles, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
But,
So if we're addressing, thank you, if we're addressing a portal for them to go to, we are still not compliant to ADA, because that's the whole reason why that isn't online, because it doesn't, am I correct? Yes, so we can't give them a portal. If we give them a portal, then what we had would be ADA compliant and we wouldn't have to be talking about this.
No, it's public face.
Okay.
We'll take offline, but it's public facing only.
The discussion, I think, should be with Mr. Ford and Mr. Lasky, if you have a discussion like that and necessary. And not that it's not valid or anything, but
Well, we are kind of being asked to comply with a law that is making us less transparent.
Mhm.
And this is very serious. And I think that if we have questions, we should be able to ask them. And when we have information that is said in here that may not be correct, we should be able to address that. So people don't think that by getting rid of a paper copy, we can just get it digitally, because if we could get it digitally, it would be on our packet. So I think this is important for people to understand. This isn't an easy yes or no decision.
no, I
Sure.
get it. That's why I want to hopefully take it to something that we can digest without having to go through a whole bunch of stuff today. But
Well,
Mr. Fonstock,
I think-
and then Mr.
You want
Young?
Mr. Young to go?
Go ahead, Mr. Young.
David Young. I think when we move to this, there should be some kind of an explanation as to why we're doing this, so that when someone does go to the county, email or the website and clicks on, just say like the county board agenda, that's primarily what we're talking about. And then there should be some message or something, I think, that says, due to ADA compliance, we are no longer providing a complete document that's 1,200 pages long. You need to download this document, but within that document, all the information is available through links. There should be some kind of not too detailed of an explanation, but kind of a step-by-step as to why we're doing it and how you get the information based upon ADA compliance. That makes sense?
I believe so. I
A
get nodding
disclaimer of
from our-
sorts.
Yeah. And then Mr. Fonstock?
Yeah, I think we can provide the copies of the full packet as everybody is maybe accustomed to in paper, and they could come and see that. I think when you get into somebody wanting like a portal or a digital link, the problem is the timing of it. Sometimes we have 1 or 2 days. So to get that turned around and say you're going to be able to get, hey, we're going to send you a private digital copy of it, and we only have 12 hours or less, it's probably not reasonable. So if they know there's a location where they can come, whether they view it, in paper or on a, like a private terminal type of thing, either way, it's going to be something that they have to self-serve. It'll be very difficult for us to actually interact with them and get them something in the amount of time that's involved. It's just, we have just to generate the packet for the board members in the, 4 or 5 days that you have is a monumental task. So I just keep that in mind as you're, you think of different ways you can communicate to 500,000 people that live in the county. You only have so many, hours to do this. So it needs to be on their part, them making, that effort until we can figure out maybe a better way. There's too much probably communication going to happen to get that done in a day or so without automating it. And then you're digital again.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. So I believe Kane County offices are going to be, government offices are going to be in compliant and working towards that for sure. And the disclaimer is, we talked about that already. So that is going to be happening, whatever the wording is going to be. But there will be a disclaimer to explain, has to be. But I'm wondering how the other elected offices are, because I know the last conversation we had, you mentioned, Charles, that you're working with them. Because sometimes there's handwriting on them, on the PowerPoints and whatnot. Since those will no longer be displayed, are they all in agreement when they give the reports for their committees, their reporting committees, that they've managed this, they're addressing this?
So this is Charles Lasky. We've had a lot of discussions related to websites, PDFs on websites. As far as getting into the details to talk to an elected official about their presentation, presentations can be shown on the screen. So anybody can bring it in and show it. But no, right now, with the way this is set up, no presentations will end up in this online packet. It'll be in the packet for the board because we cannot make those compliant in that time. And part of the struggle we have is there's been questions about, well, what if somebody can provide one thing that's compliant, but the rest isn't? Well, the system, and we've been looking at this, the system, you can create the whole packet or you can create what we're creating. There's not really a simple way to then add one document that is compliant into the middle of this where the others aren't. So right now, and getting back to kind of being transparent, the reason this is a resolution is we wanted to make sure the public could see it. It goes through the process. We discuss in an open meeting to help people understand kind of why we're doing this, why we have to do it. And so that was part of our process with this. But as far as going to each elected official to talk about their presentations, that hasn't happened I don't think to that specificity, that they're not going to have that specific thing in there. If the board approves this, then we'd be letting people know that this is what the board will have in their packets. And so I think it kind of is the second step after this goes through.
May I ask one more question?
sure.
Mr. Chair Gums. Oh, sorry.
Ms. Gumbs, if I can just ask very quickly as a follow-up, a very critical document for Kane County and its residents is our annual budget. Will that be available for public?
When you mean the budget, do you
The
mean
budget, I mean, the budget
the
book.
budget book?
Yeah,
So
because,
I don't know that the budget book has gone through testing to see how compliant it is at this point.
okay,
We can run some tests on that and see what it comes back with our testing software. And then look at what would have to be done to make that available.
for the community, being able to see in our residents, they're always curious about how much money what their money is being spent on.
Right.
On how we're allocating it. So that may be something we want to take a careful look at. Really, that's like a step 1A. This is what we're doing, step 1. And
Yeah.
step 1A would be that.
Yeah, so what we've done from the IT side of things is we're basically building the structure. So it's similar to like if we built an apartment complex. So we're making sure the doorways are ADA compliant, people can get through. But what people do with inside their building, how finance creates their budget document, how the auditor creates a document, how the sheriff creates a document, how IT creates a document. Those documents all fall in the responsibility of those groups. So we work with them, we offer suggestions. If they're working with an outside vendor to create these, we can explain those requirements. So we'll talk with finance to look at how that budget's created, and go through that. But yeah, there's a lot IT can do to help, but there's also a lot that's outside of our control. And so we're offering suggestions, offering advice, trying to test things for people. But a lot of that, we're relying on offices and departments to look at what they're doing, what they're posting, what they're putting on their website. And if they have questions, bringing it up. So the budget is a good one to look at.
Back to Gums.
Just final thought, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
I would just ask, going back to my colleague, Mr. Young's point, I would ask Charles, can you provide going forward the disclaimer language for the next committee? The disclaimer being why we're doing this.
Yes, we'll work on
Thank
that.
you.
We'll work with the state's attorney's office to make sure that we have something that would be appropriate to put up that would help kind of
Perfect.
explain this.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Allen, you had a comment?
I
Question?
did. I got the idea. Alan, I'm certainly not technical enough to understand, but I got the idea that most of the problems that we have with our outfacing stuff has to do with pictures, and the fact that when people send us bids and packages and so on, they frequently include pictures. Are columns considered pictures?
So pictures are a concern. I think we use that as an example because people understand, at Thanksgiving, they'll put a picture with a turkey and a message on top of it. What we're talking about here is more related to your packet, and the packet does have images. So you'll have, if you look
Tables.
yeah, if you look at the lease today, you have a image of the farmland, kind of a picture that if that was going to be compliant, you'd have alt text explaining what it was. But a lot of what we get comes from other people, and we don't have the ability to change that. So there are images in those that are a problem. There are tables. There's text contrast that's not, the color is not great enough contrast for what's required.
Okay.
The text in there might not be readable by a screen reader. If you give a picture of a text, it can't read those letters. So there's different things that have to be done to make sure that
It's much
those that
wider.
need it could get access to it with a screen reader or other devices they need. So
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else on this one? No questions, comments?
Mr. Chair, I apologize.
Sure, Gums?
I just want to, I know I said that was the last one, but this
Yeah,
promise
one
it
last
is.
one, come on
I
now.
know, you love me. Frankly, for the public's knowledge, if you get a chance, Google the ruling on this and what has happened. This is a result of the data that is available, that King County makes available to our residents. It's not available to all residents, and this is trying to fix that. That's what the ruling is about. So it has to be ADA compliant so that it's available equally to everyone. Just so you understand why this ruling came about. That's very important to understand, I think.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia.
Garcia, yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
Young.
Yes.
Juby.
TBI.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Passes, and that's the last one on section 9. Mr. Lebo's not here for GIS. Mill Creek SSA, Mr. Fonstock, may I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution authorizing a contract for landscape maintenance services for Mill Creek Special Service Area with Langton Group RFP number 26-010-TL on page 232, TMP 26-356 for $526,785 for 2 years and $100,000 contingency, I believe. That's what that said. So
I'll make a motion to move
motion,
it.
yeah, Mr. Young moves.
To be seconds.
So this is Roger Fonstock on behalf of Mill Creek SSA. So we did a RFP for landscape and maintenance services for Mill Creek. And this falls under the special service area budget. The lowest responsible proposal was Langton Group. We had a good series of responses. Langton has a reference with Mill Creek. They've done work in Mill Creek for years. Their price and proposal we felt was the most responsible for Mill Creek. The base bid is 26,785 for a 2-year period. And then there are 3 1-year extensions for that would also be included. And then and those will be subsequently authorized in year 3, 4, and 5. The additional $100,000 per year of contingency for 2 years would be another $200,000. So that's where you get the $526,785. The $100,000 in contingency is for the events and landscaping and needs that they have that are unexpected, unanticipated, and they're done at unit pricing through the contract. Again, it's all budgeted through the Mill Creek Special Service Area budget. It's a 2-year contract with 3 1-year extensions, and we're recommending approval.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Fonstock? Ms. Juby?
I just have a comment. Unless there was a aggressive vegetation mutation in Mill Creek, they have a typo on page 255.
Which page? I'm sorry.
255.
255.
They have bush honeycuckle.
Buckle.
And yeah, and
We will fix that.
yeah, just for future.
Typo.
Yeah.
A mutant.
You got it.
Yeah.
Was that in their bid response or? Okay. Well, we can't.
It's
treat
not
that.
our fault,
We're not
but I
gonna
just
treat-
was like, wow, is that like a new variety? It is not. So
All
We
right.
will make note of that one.
Go to iNaturalist and find out. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Arroyo,
I've been at the spelling or not?
No, we don't need it.
Aye.
We're okay.
Garcia,
Garcia, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Young,
Yes.
Juby,
GBI.
Caius.
Guys, yes. Motion passes. Item 12, vehicles. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve a resolution approving the purchase of one 2026 Ford F-250 truck cab and body for the Kane County Division of Transportation, Unit 47, page number 281, TMP-26-147 for $70,405. Moved by Arroyo, second by
Young.
Young. And we have someone, Mr. Mike Way.
Good morning, Michael Way from KDOT. Before you is a resolution for replacing the one supervisor truck for a 2026 F-250 with a utility body. We're going to be purchasing it from Sourcewell Contract for a total purchase price of $68,405. There is a $2,000 contingency on there because the utility body is fiberglass, and fiberglass prices fluctuate with oil prices. So we're trying to make sure we have enough room in there when that happens. Typically, these vehicles are replaced every 10 years. This vehicle did go about 14 to 15 years by the time we get replacement. We did price check off of buying it off a lot, buying it from state contract and other venues. And this was the cheapest. We are going to be about $9,500 cheaper than last time with doing it through Sourcewell because the body comes already put on the truck for us. So staff recommends approval.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Way? Hearing none. roll
Gums, how
call,
many
please.
miles did we get on it? Off
It
the over.
varies. That one currently is sitting at like 160,000.
Okay, cool.
So these are daily drivers for our supervisors and they respond to after hours emergencies. So it kind of fluctuates like our road foreman. He's already at 190 on his. So we put the miles on, but we keep them in good shape.
Nope, just curious. Thank you.
Kudos for making that last a long time. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Arroyo. Garcia. Ms. Garcia. Gums.
Gums, yes.
Thank you. Young.
Yes.
Juby.
Should I?
Caius.
Tyus, yes. Okay, on to facility use requests. That's Mr. Fonstock, I
Yeah, I'll take
believe. Item A, Geneva Children's Business Fair.
Yeah, so these are done generally by consensus, but you could take a voice vote to approve of them. I think that would be appropriate. The committee approves these use of facilities at the recommendation of the chief judge's office. And if it's pertaining to county property, we also would make recommendations. These are, I think, all except for one, either at the Third Street Courthouse Judicial Center or the court clerk's office, with the exception of Environmental Water Resources using Fabian Parkway for a recycling event. So if you want to go through them one by one, the first one is the Geneva Children's Business Fair. They're looking to use, I believe it's Third Street Courthouse. Let's see, let me make sure I got the right place. King County Courthouse parking lot. It's on August 1st, 8:30 to 3 o'clock. And that's the Geneva Children's Business Fair. And the Chief Judge's Office recommended approval, and we have their signature on the second page. So if you want to do a voice vote, just all in favor type of thing, that would, I think, be
All
sufficient.
understand? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Second one is Casa Kane County, Hands Around the Courthouse Annual Awareness Event. It's Thursday, April 9th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is going to be in the Third Street Geneva Courthouse. It's in the Rotunda. Again, we have the Judge Bowles signing off on the use of Third Street for that, and we're recommending approval. So you want
Any
to do all in
questions?
favor? Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes.
The next one is a series of events put on by Geneva Chamber of Commerce. So this is kind of their roster of events. I believe most of these are in and around Third Street Courthouse. We have, let's see, June 24th through the 28th, Swedish Days. They'll be using the parking lots and grounds around the Third Street Courthouse for a variety of hours. It's in your packet. May 2nd, 10 to 4 p.m., Art Explosion. May 17th, 10 to 3 p.m., there is Anderson Humane Shop adoption event. We will be hosting the classic car shows Thursday evenings, July through August. It's July 9th through August 27th, 5 to 8 p.m. at the parking lot behind the courthouse. Geneva Art Fair, July 25th through the 26th at the courthouse parking lot. Festival of Vine, September 11th through the 13th. They are looking to use similar, the roads around the courthouse and parking lots. The Christmas Walk, December 4th. I believe that's also parking in areas around the courthouse that they're looking to use. All of those approved by the judicial office. We're recommending approval.
Any questions about those? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. On to
Next
item
one.
D.
All right, Casa Kane County Backpacks for Bookworms annual event. They're distributing backpacks and school supplies, July 14th, 2026. This is in the parking lot and garden around Third Street Courthouse. We have approval from Judge Bowles for the Third Street Courthouse. We're recommending approval of that one. Any questions for that one? No, hearing none. Mr. Caius, would you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Passes.
The next one is a facility use request from the Health Department. This is Safe Kane County drive-through, firearm safety, naloxone, and other 988 awareness yard signs they're going to give out. This is in the Circuit Clerk's parking lot on Randall Road. It's across from the fairgrounds. They're going to be doing that on, let's see, April 24th, 2026. And we have approval for that as well. So we're recommending approval.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And
Passes?
yep. The last one is the proposal to use the parking lot on Fabian property for dumped, it's a tire collection event. This is Environmental Water Resources. Director Wolnick had contacted us about this event. Normally it's department approving space for a department, but we thought you'd be aware of it. It's going to be on the Fabian parking area. There is a map on there with an area where the location is. We'll be providing access to get back in there. It's been done there before, I believe. It's very successful. No issues, and they manage the dumping and the pickup and cleanup and whatnot. But it's going to be on Monday, May 11th from 8 to 3 p.m. And then they have a contractor pickup date of May 12th. But we work with them to get access and make sure that everything gets taken care of during the event. It's very successful. And if you have any questions, we have
Oh, there's
we have
Claire.
active participation. So
There you go.
otherwise, we just need your consensus to move forward.
All of those doesn't include garage or shops, does it? It's just like fly dumped tires and things?
It's recycling or just the handling of all the tires from the county that people will drop. Claire?
I have no questions.
Her phone is maybe not on. Try the button there. I'm not sure.
Sorry, thanks.
Yeah.
Claire Ryan, the recycling coordinator. So just to confirm what Roger said, the event is for dump tires that are brought by townships, municipalities, and other county agencies. It's not a public event, so you won't see any like outreach from us about this.
Great. Thanks, Claire. And then did you have a question? Gums? Is that what I heard?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
said I didn't have any questions.
Mr. Gripe?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chair. Claire, sorry to make you get up. If the public does have tires, is there some point during the year that they can bring them in?
We haven't done a public tire event. They do one in McHenry and it becomes unmanageable really fast because of how many tires they get. Tire stores generally will take tires. There might be a higher fee for them if you don't buy a new tire, but yeah.
It's a tire store. Sorry, you're not allowed. We have an expert. If anybody wants to talk to Mr. Leffler later about tires, he's your guy.
Quinn Tires and Royal, take them for $5.
Okay. All right. Anybody else on questions about this? I saw a hand wave. No, okay. All right, then. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It
you.
passes. Get those tires. On to new business. A discussion for the celebration of the country's 250th anniversary, Daughters of the American Revolution Heritage Elm Tree and Declaration Square Garden. And I believe I will turn it over to Roger.
Oh,
There we go.
okay. Good morning, Roger Fonstock with IT and Buildings Management. This was put on the agenda. We've been working with Madam Chair and the County Board Office and the Daughters of the American Revolution regarding the heritage elm tree that was donated to the county and received by the county to be planted. And we've been trying to identify the location where the tree would be planted. They have a commemorative plaque and some other things we were talking about doing. We've investigated different properties and parcels. It was suggested the Third Street Courthouse be a location for this because of the permanency of the property there. The Third Street Courthouse, I believe, is 1857. I was looking it up earlier, the original courthouse, and then there's a courthouse before that even. And it's generally speaking in the front of the property on Third Street, there are too many trees and canopies for another tree to successfully make it out front. So we were looking at a location that is relatively, sparse. There's not a lot out there, but it would be a good addition and a central location. In the middle of the parking lot behind the courthouse, you'll see the red square on the screen. That's the location. And we're looking at pretty much dead center in the middle of that, we would make what would be just kind of a central square around the tree. So we're still in the concept kind of thoughts about this. We did have some services donated from White and Company to help us with concepts. And we know that they're working on some ideas with us. The question that we have is just kind of the timing of things. I believe the Declaration of Independence reading and the event is July 8th that they want to read the declaration. So there are only a few months left before that period of time. And so we're working on what we think we might be able to do. And then also, obviously, the fiscal constraints of this. The tree was donated, and we want to help them get it into the ground. But at the same time, we realize that we don't have a actual budget to do this. So we're trying to do this with minimal county resources as possible.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Shepro.
Yeah.
Mr.
Shepro,
Chairman,
it's
point of
local-
order, I am on the committee. I have my hand up.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
All right.
This was a staff comment.
I have a question.
Sure.
When we authorized this, when we voted yes, we were not told it was going to be in a square garden. We were not told it was going to require any other location. We were told it would be a suitable choice on this property. Had I known that we were talking about digging up a court or parking space, I would have voted no. So if we are doing anything that is a variation of what we all voted on, I suggest it goes back to the full board before any more time is being dedicated to this. Because it definitely changes my vote if we're going to be making modifications of permanence.
The way it's at right now, it's would be somewhere located in the middle of that square, but we don't have a final plan at this time.
But my point
I agree.
being, that was not what was presented to us, and that would have changed my vote on the acceptance of that tree. So I make a motion to send this back to the full board to determine whether this is a direction that they want to go before we make any more decisions.
There's a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Second by Young. Is there discussion?
So
I
what's
do,
your-
Mr. Chair. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, Mr.
No,
Royal,
no, Ms. Combs, please.
Oh,
Gums?
thank you. I'm looking at, I did look at the proposal here in the red, and I'm concerned because you're talking about a gigantic tree that's going to disrupt that entire parking lot.
Okay.
I mean, as it grows, I'm very familiar with large trees. That's problematic.
Then you've made your point. Is that
No, let
what
everybody
you
go.
had the
I want
point
to
you
hear
want
this
to make?
first. I want to hear this first. Please go there. Go ahead.
Thank you. Anybody come before we go to the discussion here? Anybody else on the committee?
I'll defer to Ms. Allen.
I'm sorry?
I will defer to Ms. Allen,
Well, Ms. Allen's not on the committee.
and I defer to Ms. Allen.
Okay. Then,
I, as a committee, defer to Ms. Allen.
okay. Then
That's very kind.
we'll go, Ms. Allen.
My question, this is Alan, and my question is this. Do we know how much that parking lot is used? Is it, if it's, there are parking lots that are built for Christmas Eve. And
No, that's used all the time.
The lot on
okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Let's not be just kicking in here. Then the question is, do we know how much parking lot's been used? Then do you have a comment, Mr.
Yeah,
Longstock?
I would offer that there's no traffic study for that parking lot. Generally speaking, Monday through Friday, the lot is less than half full most of the time. Now you have events like we just read off. Those events will populate that parking lot during the week and weekends because we allow the public to use the lots. But during the week, you will rarely find, half the lot full. So, and it's just because of the nature of business that has shifted from Third Street Courthouse to the Judicial Center. There's just not as much volume, but.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Arroyo.
Other information on that would be that the mayor of Geneva saw no concerns with parking, with taking up some parking lot. And the Chamber of Commerce also had no concerns with their events. They thought it would be a suitable, and then however it goes in, just preliminarily, I'd like to have a little more information about what is going on, then we can vote to send it back, just to see where it's at first, though, if that's okay. Ms. Juby?
I think there's a motion on the floor and I'm
No,
not
there is.
willing to rescind my
discussing.
motion.
I'm discussing.
Well, sure.
Can I discuss? I would like to say that before we send it back to the full board, maybe we can get more of this information. That's why I was hoping we could get it out to have a discussion in committee before we took it to 24 members. Then they would
point
have
of
a
order,
better
Mr.
idea
Chair.
of how to bring it back, what to do with the process. But,
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
yeah, oh boy. Yeah. Gums,
Sorry,
I love
Gums.
you.
I love you too. Just though, so we're clear here, we have a motion on the floor and that's what we are discussing.
That's what we're
So-
discussing. Then-
So I would suggest, that I'm not, so I would ask a question of my colleagues, sending this to the full county board on that motion. I'm not sure that we're gonna get the answers at the full county board that we need. I don't even know how this happened, so I'm reluctant to send it without getting those questions answered right here today. Cause I have no idea why the chamber had information or anything. I'm not sure how we switched to this.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second to send it back. And so we're discussing how we're going to treat this thing. And so is your hand still up, Ms. Gums?
Well, I would just say that I don't want to send it back until I get my questions
Okay,
answered. So I
great.
would not support the amendment at this point because I
Okay,
have more
then
questions.
I see Ms. Garcia.
Hi, yes, I'm kind of confused also because if we vote yes, and then now did we never contemplate, like, what would happen? Like, at this point, we don't have the funds, so we're trying to figure out what's the next step. And for me, trying to figure out, it's not like, that we have a plan. So taking it back to the board, we still don't have a plan.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chair.
Then Mr. Fonstock has something
Yeah.
to point out. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
I just want to be clear, this was just a discussion item. So we're not voting on a resolution to do anything or to take any action. But if you want to take it up on an agenda at a later date in another committee, I think that's up to the committee chair or the chairman. We're not voting on a resolution to do anything. It was to
That's a good point.
discuss this site as a potential location that was recommended. We actually did discuss this with the chief judge's office, and this was one of the locations that they thought would be suitable on the Third Street campus, not the front yard.
Mr. Chair, I withdraw the motion.
We'll have a motion. Okay, thank you.
If I may make a statement, Mr.
Can
Chairman.
we
yeah.
continue with the discussion then? Is that suitable? Okay.
Again, Mr. Chairman, this is a
Then-
discussion. There's nothing, there's no amendments, no resolutions, nothing. It's just a discussion,
Just a
a
discussion.
proposed site.
That's
It's a
what I was
proposed
hoping,
site, and
yeah.
everybody gets worked up over a discussion item. So, and we're under a time constraint too. We'll probably be one of the few counties in Illinois that doesn't have a 250th commemoration for the street. I mean, the Daughters of American Revolution gifted this to us. This is gifted to us, a gift for the people of Kane County. And we're saying no, because I don't like it because it's here, because I wasn't told it's going to be here. But there's nothing set in stone yet. Nothing is set in stone yet.
And that's what we
It's
hope
a
to
discussion, you
get
know,
the
like-
information out here to see where we're going.
And if we're looking for private funds to help fund this, I'm all for it. It's gonna cost us very little of anything money. So just.
So hopefully we
we're
get
getting
some
caught up
more
in the
information
weeds.
for discussion here. Then
Thank you,
Mr.
Chairman.
Schaefer, did you have a comment about the,
Yes,
maybe the?
I did. Apparently, nobody really wanted to hear it. Has anybody talked
do.
to the DAR recently about this?
Yes.
Because the last word that I have is that there is no way that they expect to have the national office approve this by July the 4th.
I'm sorry, approve what?
Approve the plaque, the wording, and the planting of the tree. They have a
Into the microphone,
multi-tiered
please, Mr.
approval process. The approval process began with the board indicating that they were willing to go along with the project. The next step in the process was to get two opinions from historians that in fact their research was validated. They have received that, one from me, one from another historian. The next step is that it goes to the National Office for review and approval, where they will review everything that has been done to date. And when I spoke a couple weeks ago with the chair of the DAR project committee, she said that the process that the national office was such that she felt that there was no way that this was going to be approved by them in time for July 4th.
July 8th. Thank you for that input, Madam Chair.
The tree, let's go just to the tree. I've seen a photograph of the tree. The tree is healthy. It's a true sapling, maybe 12, 15 inches tall. So it is a tree, a small tree. The plaque that is being referenced is separate from the tree. The plaque is of the Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried here in Kane County. When I spoke to Christine, who's the representative of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Kane County Elias Kane chapter, and that was about a week ago, everything seemed to be moving forward. She gave no indication that there was these issues that have been brought forward, but the plaque is separate from. They would like to have the plaque be by the tree. That's very important to them, not separate from. The first conversation that you may remember, it was going to be by the cannon, and they do not want it by the cannon. They want it by the tree so that they are tied together. They grow together. So that something separate, and I don't think that's an impediment to getting this little tiny tree in the ground. The chief judge was spoken to because of his care and concern about the courthouse and his historic preservation. He was very excited about this project, very enthusiastic about it. The Geneva Chamber of Commerce felt it would be a great amenity for Geneva. It gave it full support, and that was including their board, so it wasn't just their director. The mayor of Geneva also is very enthusiastic about it, feels that it's a very good complement to their municipality. So they are also very much in favor of it. So a lot of due diligence was taken and looked at about where this tree is going to be planted. Originally, the first conversation we had with the board was it was going to be at the 3rd Street Courthouse. And there was much conversation going back and forth saying that it's, planting it out in front. The tree would not be successful there because of the other canopy of other trees that are already existing there. It wouldn't have the sense of presence. And if you remember, then there were other suggestions. We could plant it in a forest preserve. We could plant it here. But the tree is not just a tree, it's a symbol. And the symbol of a liberty tree is a gathering spot where the patriots gathered throughout the East Coast and throughout areas. Georgia is not, considered East Coast, but they had liberty trees where people would gather to develop America, the history of America, early America, the Declaration. And that's what the gathering spot was. And that was back in the days when they didn't have gathering spots. So they would sit under the tree to get out of the sun and talk. And that has been thoroughly documented. And I even shared that history with all of you when I said, no, you're Ken Shepro now. But that's the tree. It has to have a space to itself so it can be a place to gather. So that's what this space was chosen for. That it would be at the courthouse, which is what the board suggested, in an appropriate place that it can grow and age.
Committee members. First.
Gums has her hand up.
Gums has her hands up. Ms. Gums?
Thank you so much. With all due respect to my colleague, Mr. Arroyo, yeah, I'm in the weeds. That's what I'm here for, and I am irritated. I'm irritated because we voted on something that was going in the front lawn. That's in fact true. So yeah, I get that we're in the weeds, but the problem that I'm having is this conversation has brought to light some things that I am not aware of. One of those is our due diligence should also include the Kane County board members. I am hearing that the chamber was reached out to, the mayors, and now we have a plan in front of us that I'm looking at on a screen that says I'm going to tear up a parking lot, which should be neither here nor there, but we are having a conversation and this is part of it. So with all due respect, I think the weeds is where we need to be on this. I don't think that's an appropriate place for a tree. Everybody here wants the tree. We get it. But this is where we do our due diligence. And I got nothing else.
Okay.
No objection to location. On the record, Arroyo.
Then Mr. Gripe, you have comments?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I think that there's a way to do everything everybody's talking about here. And I happened to pop into the meeting. I've been a part of pretty much every one of these meetings from the get-go. My wife's on the team. She has some planting expertise. There's other experts way smarter than me. But it's becoming evident that there may be like permitting processes and other things. You know, even though we're the county, we just can't go in and rip up whatever, if that's what the board wants. So my suggestion this morning is that the advantage is this tree is literally about that high in a pot, which is awesome. Because you could put that pot, sit it on a sidewalk somewhere. I'm not saying, any rate, we could move it, we could celebrate it on whatever date we want while the board is getting its due diligence, while this committee, whoever that is getting what it needs. And the good news is this committee, and Madam Chair's on it, and other people, Rogers on it, to give the information that this committee and or the board wants. And there's no pressure to do that, but I think it's appropriate. At any rate, the good news is we could have that ceremony, and it's cute that it's the size it is, but we could celebrate it. And then when we get the plaque and the building permits and all that stuff worked out and the board approves what's being done and what's going to be spent and where that money's coming from, those two can proceed kind of separate from each other without locking this committee or the board into it has to go right here kind of a thing. So I'm just suggesting that that's a good thing, takes some pressure off, and then the process can proceed of understanding and evaluating and getting in the weeds, as Michelle says.
In the weeds. Okay, Mr. Roth?
Roth here. You currently have lost quorum. So if you put me on,
Okay.
then you're back in
You're
quorum.
a member of the committee then?
Yes.
Then you can speak ahead with it.
Okay.
Ready? No, you done? Okay. And not in defense of this, but in an explanation, bringing it to the committee, I think this is the appropriate place to begin the discussion. And I think it was appropriate to bring some possibilities to this committee where we could be discussing it as opposed to taking it to the full board. That way we can discuss it. So hopefully we'll be able to, if we get all the information that we have up to this time, then move ahead with this one way or the other, because we have the tree. I think everybody said that they want the tree. Doesn't have to go here. This is what, if there's a possibility that can go someplace else, I think that's all part of the discussion. It's not like my reluctance to not bring it and to talk to everybody about it was that I really didn't have any information that was firm about this. This is not firm. This is just this is a proposal. This may be where it's going. So I hope we can have a amicable discussion about this. And I appreciate the comments of everyone.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So,
And
just to back you up, Mr. Chairman, like this is just the presentation. We're not voting anything. We're not appropriating money. It's just a presentation. It's all it is. we're all getting worked up over something that we're not voting on. There's no budget allocated for it. It's just a presentation. It's a pretty picture with a box saying it could possibly go here with a lot of sunlight. And we're all worked up over something that is a presentation. So let's take a step back and no one's being excluded. The board's, that's what the board wants to be involved. The board's being involved right now. To Ms. Gum's
This is
point.
where it starts. in the
Here's your
committee.
information. Wrong with it. If you don't like it, next meeting, bring your own proposal, please.
And to Mr. Gripe's suggestion, I think that's great. And I think that's part of the discussion we were hoping to get out this morning was that regardless of what we do with the tree, there's very little chance, and especially with what Mr. Shepro has said, that we're actually going to have some sort of a grand permanent plan in place by the time July 8th rolls around. So this may be this hopefully is the very preliminary discussion on what we will take this precious tree and what we will do with it. But we shouldn't, I hope we don't exclude a lot of things just out of the out of the gate. Let's put it in a race, out of the gate before we have a full discussion. Because I don't believe, even though we said we would accept the tree, that we had a permanent place exactly picked out for the full board when we did have that. And it works out that it's not going to work. We thought maybe the front yard, but that's not going to work because of the shade. So, Madam Chair, unless there's a committee member.
I do, Mr. Chair Guns.
Yes, Gums.
Thanks. I actually agree with you 100%. I agree with Mr. Gripe. Thank you, Alex. I agree with you too. I would like to, maybe at the next meeting, I think Mr. Gripe's point about it being in a pot for the celebration, all the things are good. What I would like to see is, I don't know the answer to this, so maybe there's an answer here. Is there an arborist that we're working with? And then also, the reason I don't like the location is because of the parking lot. So when people gather, I don't want the gathering in a parking lot. So thanks, Madam Chair. But to me, it's just not a suitable spot, in my opinion. And I'm here to have that lovely conversation.
Okay.
So I don't like the location currently, but I would like to see maybe staff come back with some more permanent, like why is it the best spot, or what does an arborist say, and what are the cons for this being in a parking lot? Because I think that's a con for me. Not only where they're going to be at to view this plaque and the tree, but also what is it going to do to our existing parking lot as it grows?
An absolutely good point is, or perfect, is that we need to have professional arborists as well as architects and other.
Yeah, it's just a
professionals
really
work on
big
this.
tree.
Yeah. Well, not right now, but hopefully it will be. We'll try
Right.
and keep it alive long enough to do that.
We'll all be dead by
Yeah,
then.
yeah, I'm afraid so, but regardless of that, any other comments from the committee or not committee, other board members? That, Madam Chair, to add something to
Thank
this?
you, Ms. Gums. Great question regarding the health of the tree in that area. That has been greatly discussed, and there has been much thought about that. That is, if I'm going with the board direction that you want to have it at Third Street Courthouse, and that was what was suggested. So kind of figured that out. And I have to say that of all of the properties we have here in Kane County, that will most likely be the one 50, 100 years from now that will be maintained, because county buildings may shift. The courthouse in St. Charles stay there as well. But I think some of our other properties may be fluid as time changes and things change. But we know for a fact that that one is pretty much going to be in place. I can almost guarantee it because it's historical marked. So the property to plant a tree, we needed large open space. And that's why that was considered as an opportunity. But yes, we have talked at great length about soil conditions, salinity, snow removal, drainage, drainage pipes. And with that remediation, it cannot be like a backyard planting where we would plant it in an existing open area. We still have to do a heck of a lot of remediation to make sure that it's got soil and not dirt. and make sure that it's a healthy area. But this would be, if it was there, and that we just have had, like, I've had like 5 discussions about this little tree. It would be specially enhanced for the health of this tree. But all of that fact can be brought forward to the board so that they are aware of what the conditions will be and the preparation for this tree to have a long and successful life. So that at the 300th anniversary, 50 years from now, when most of us will be gone, except for you, Ms. Gomes, you'll be there and you can help celebrate it. And I hope to be celebrating it there as well in my wheelchair. So
So is this something we can bring back to this committee for further discussion? Does that make sense?
I would like, Gums.
Yes?
Thanks. I appreciate the grace, Mr. Chair, because I think we're getting somewhere. I agree with all of this stuff, but when, the reason I'm looking for the arborist information is because originally we thought the front would be the spot, right? And I know that's complicated here, but when I'm looking at the front of the 3rd Street Courthouse, I'm looking at maple trees, I'm looking at a pine tree. Those are going to be gone by the time this tree gets above their canopy. So I need somebody to tell me why the front lawn is not the spot for it, because for me, that was a beautiful, wonderful, perfect spot. And that's just, I would like to hear more information as to, can we make it happen in the front?
Was there a report from an arborist that helped
No,
identify?
no.
Well, no, I'm asking, I'm
Oh,
sorry, I'm going to ask Madam Chair that. Was there somebody that knows, do they have, I know we haven't gotten any information. We just said, well, it was too shady. That's that's all I've heard. Was
If
there a
I
report
may-
from an arborist that said that?
not a formal report, but Roger,
Just-
do you remember the conversation that we had with White and Company?
So the discussion was just about how many trees are in the front yard and the canopy of the trees. And then the size of this tree. If you don't remove any of the other trees and you're trying to grow this tree, it's going to be in full shade almost all the time because the nature of what's there, it's a very small tree. So eventually the other trees would have to go, or they would be, kind of commingling in the front. So you can plant it there. It'll be very congested unless you take out other trees. There are a number of trees in the front yard that are actually already commemorative. There's a casa tree out there. There's a large, I think it's an evergreen that has, I don't remember if it was an owl or it has some birds in it that everybody takes photos of, or we're told, that corner, stay away from that corner. So I think there's some challenges to the front yard that we just felt, well, where's there a large enough space where you could have a large 50, 60 foot tree with a big, 30, 40 foot canopy. That's, in the front yard, it's unlikely unless you take out trees. In that back space, it's relatively wide open, and there is kind of one tree that is in that boulevard now that is in rough condition. So it would probably be an improvement. We've had a number of other things that were in there. But it is a relatively wide open space. So that's I think with the judges' input, they were like, if it made the parking lot in that area look better, it's kind of concrete jungle type of look right now. So if we go back and were to make it an improvement to that area for the community, it would be nice. But there's other, we could consider whatever is recommended, but that's been for that campus kind of the big open space that would be best suited for a tree that size. It is in the middle of a parking lot. I don't know about cutting or taking any trees from the front and trying to get it over there, but we could certainly look at an arborist. The person that has been working with us as a volunteer is a landscape architect and has basically a complement of people to help her with recommendations. She did talk about, hey, it's in a parking lot. We're gonna have to do some work with the ground because the ground needs to be improved in order to support a tree. So there's some conversations like that. We do not have a plan set or anything like that that's been developed, and we have spent no county funds towards any plan set. It's just been talks with a person who volunteered their time as a landscape architect to do some concept drawings about where this would potentially go. So we're working on that with them.
And it's all been volunteer up to this time, right? Other than
Oh,
your time.
yes.
Yes, oh, yes,
Other than
all
if
volunteer.
some staff
The
hours.
Architecture, designers, civil. So, Mr.
Oh, it's
Rod?
snowing outside.
Yep.
Ever snowing.
It started as soon as we started discussing the tree.
Well,
The pigs flew by earlier.
It's so focused on conversation, didn't notice. the
you're off
snow.
topic.
I know. I would also recommend we include the forest reserve in the discussion. And I know we originally wanted to have it here, but when you're talking about a gathering, I don't look at a parking lot as a good gathering spot,
If,
you know, and we also should,
Kenneth is
why
here.
reinvent?
Yeah, Bill, I just wanted to
Hang
jump
on,
in.
I have the floor, Mr. Penesis.
Yeah, okay.
Let's have a full discussion, so let's let everyone get out their ideas.
Right.
Before we cut them off and send it somewhere down the way.
Right.
Because we don't know what the validity of any particular suggestion could be.
Right.
Again, this is the very beginning, try to massage a few things, but just we have a
And then the other thing I was going to say, and then I'll be done. Have we done a survey of other tree locations? You know, why reinvent the wheel? You know, when you're talking about gathering, you know, is it how big, how many people can be there?
I would say this is pretty unique, so.
I
don't really
understand, but there's hundreds of these all over the country. So we should at least look, what have other cities, towns done?
Probably right downtown. Then, Madam Chair, one time, or not one time, and if there's an appetite for this discussion, I think that it's important that we hash out as amicably as possible where we want to go from here without throwing anybody under the bus.
So if I can add on to the parking lot, just not this plan, but the additional plan that is being.
And I see you, Ted. I'll get you. in a
Being
minute.
discussed right now. Matter of fact, there was a grant that just was sent out to support this project, federal grant. So if you take a look at the parking lot and you go south, it's the Nest. It's going to be called the Nest, and Judiciary has been looking at a building that it's not used here in the county anymore, but it still exists, and it's to courthouse in the back. It's to the right. Is that James Street? That may be James Street.
Campbell.
there. Campbell
I
Street.
think it went through this
It's
committee.
in the bottom
So-
center of the rooftop is in the bottom center of that drawing.
So you're already aware of this. Now, they're going to be expanding this. There are going to be children that are going to be there. There are going to be parents who are going to be there. So this parking lot is going to start being more actively used by younger people as well. It's a place for parents to drop off their children, to be with their children under a supervised situation, yes, small crowd. But it's going to have a different use as well. There's going to be a different feeling towards that once that building, which this board has talked about, starts coming online. So it's not just going to be institutional. It's going to be more family focused, more family purposed, which is the purpose of this parking lot, because it's not just for cars, for the use of the courts. We do know that this is a gathering spot for community residents to go to a fair, to go to Christmas walk, to go to the, whatever the morphing is going to be of the Geneva Chamber Days. All of that is going to be used, and it is a parking lot, park/parking lot, as it is right now.
Then I have Mr.
Ted.
Penesis. Did you have your hand up?
Well, yeah, actually I
then
did.
you
I was
just
just basically all I wanted to say was exactly what Bill said. Kind of second what he had to say, getting the Forest Preserve District involved and see if there's maybe, I know we're running late in the game here, but see if there's another location. Actually, this is the first time I've heard about this location. I thought it was actually going to be at the Kane County Government Center. What about Gunnar Anderson Forest Preserve? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas because it just seemed kind of odd having it in a parking lot where there's nothing else for people to look at. If the parking spaces that are going to be lost aren't that big of a deal, I don't really have a problem with it. But and it's late in the game here, you know, July 4th is right around the corner, but I mean, 250th anniversary for our country. Do we have a better location for this? And involving the Forest Preserve District may be helpful.
Okay, Ms. Juby, she's on committee, and then you, Mr. Gripe.
So I just heard mention that a grant has been applied to. When we do grants, don't we have to put specifics of what the project's going to look like?
Oh, yes, yeah, it is.
So
It's not for this. It is for the nest.
Okay, so
It's not for this Liberty.
okay, so when you mentioned that there was a grant, you were not referring to this. You were referring to the nest.
That's accurate.
Okay, just checking for
accurate.
clarification because we're talking about
Yeah.
this and not
There-
nest.
There has been,
This particular area, that building at
but
the
I'm
bottom
saying
there.
this will
Mr. Chairman.
complement it,
Then
that the
The-
parking lot is
Go
going
ahead,
to change
Mr.
its dynamics.
The grant was something that was worked on with the chief judge's office with Judge Villa, Judge Di Giovanni and their administrators. I worked on that with them. So it's specific to the nest.
So it doesn't need to be discussed right now.
It's not that,
Thank you.
but it's adjoining. It'll be in that same area.
Right, but it's also confusing.
peripheral, but
Yeah.
just to point out the activity that may occur in that area, I think would be probably an accurate statement. Mr. Gripe, did you have your hand up?
Yes, sir. So I may be able to help the committee save time and be able to get what it needs to move forward probably at a next meeting. I would be glad to, because I have a personal interest in this. My wife does this for a living. I like some of the other people, everybody on the committee. Any rate, I'd be glad to get a touch base with the Forest Preserve and with these other folks and say, hey, can we, if this is what the committee wants, get a presentation of locations possible, funding estimate, all the stuff that we think the committee might. And if there's other questions, Chris, you could send them to me and I'll make sure they get addressed. And then get the right people to present to whomever, this committee, I guess, and give you the information you need to feel informed and to be able to make whatever decisions may come up.
You're suggesting a working group of some sort?
Well, there already is a working group, so to
Is there a
speak.
formal work, well, so to speak is
Yeah.
something. I'm
And there's
just asking for clarification.
I go to most of the meetings, but it's not a county board thing. It's Madam Chair goes to the meetings. Other people who understand this, we have a DAR representative, just different. The White and Company person is on it. So pretty much all the people that know what they need to know. And if we need to expand it to the Forest Preserve, to maybe I could contact Ben and see who might be a good person, the arborist that Michelle was talking about. So we can cover soup to nuts on whatever the committee might want to know. And if this were then to proceed, if it needed to go to the board, then everybody would be informed all the way up.
Okay, can I?
Just an offer.
I'm not sure how to, I understand this been more, because I've sat in on a few of the meetings just to see if I can get something out of it too, but yes, Madam Chair.
So I appreciate the Forest Preserve suggestion, and that would be kind of like, all right, it's a tree planted with the Forest Preserve so it can have other trees. I get that, but remember, this is a gift from the Daughters of the American Revolution. And with the plaque and the tree go together. They have made that pretty firm. They want the plaque at the 3rd Street Courthouse. That's where they're requesting it to go. So if you are suggesting, and if the board says, well, we'll take your tree, but you can't have it at the area that you want it because for a variety of different reasons, whatever those may be, you're going to have to get their permission that they will approve this being moved to a different location. Because if you remember when they gave the presentation, it was the plaque and the tree.
I don't remember specifically, but if that's what we remember, okay, so.
But that at the time was thinking that we would be able to put it in front of the courthouse, and that's been ruled out.
So the second closest place is the back. of the
It is
courthouse.
in a parking lot, and
Happens to be a parking lot.
and
back
like
there.
Mr. Gripe had said, if you planted trees near a parking lot, the soil quality is pretty bad. And I have experience from that from our museum because our whole property is gravel, so it's hard to grow stuff.
So,
I'm-
but
I'm
that's all being
I think it's a-
addressed, Trivia.
But
I'm just saying, I think that's a workable situation
Right.
because it's crappy now, doesn't mean that we couldn't prepare it so that would be.
well, you have another location right out front here. We have a veteran center that's not going away anytime
And that
soon.
does, well, I'm not gonna.
And you
argue
got
that.
lots of property there in front of it.
Let's stop right there. Let's.
I'm just saying
the-
another
the
alternative.
request was that they have the plaque at the courthouse.
Okay,
That
Mr. Chairman.
eliminate everything? I'm just asking.
Mr. Chairman, it's not they're gonna crack a hole in the cement and throw the tree in there. This is planning. They're excavate, dig so far deep, bring in good dirt and plant this tree and build a park in the parking lot. Just use your heads, people, please. Use reason here.
Well-
They're not gonna dig a hole and just throw a tree in there. They're gonna build a park in the parking lot, a beautiful park, a big park. It's not just gonna be this cars, a Chevy park next to a tree. It's gonna be a place for people to go to.
But we
There's
haven't.
plenty
that-
of
the
space
group,
there,
we
there's
haven't
plenty of
seen that-
sun there
And
for the
that
tree
group,
to
we haven't seen
grow.
that plan.
And by the time the tree is big enough, we'll all be dead.
Okay, well, that's the easy answer. I'm gonna die. We'll
Mr.
put it where we
Chair
want to.
comes.
Who cares?
The tree could
But
die.
just a minute, just a minute. I
Mr.
see a
Chair.
couple fingers over here.
I mean, if we're to
Mr.
the
Wright.
point that we don't want this, just give the damn tree back and call it a day. Because I don't want to be here
Excuse
another
me.
2 hours discussing this nonsense.
You're free to,
Create a working group,
free to go. We'll have.
create a working
will we have a
group
quorum? or
and
we
move
won't?
forward. Let them talk about it.
Well, it is just a
Mr. Chair
discussion.
comes.
Is there any other business we have to discuss besides placing the reports on file?
Mr. Gums has I'm not done
Yeah.
discussing.
Is that we would like to discuss the disposition and sale of Kane County's real property. That should be another hour worth of.
No,
Actually,
yeah,
no.
But
I
we've
just
been
have a
dumping
quick
it
point.
off Anyway, or maybe not.
Miss
If I'm
Gomes is-
recognized, Mr. Chair,
Ms. Gums.
thanks. As much as I could appreciate that there'll be a park, listen, I'm good with it. I just think the front yard should not be excluded. And I would like to see it there.
The what?
I would like to see the tree in the front. I have, yeah, as you know, many oak trees here. My saplings do just fine under these giant oak canopies. So I would like the answer to that before we rule out the front yard.
Can I request
you.
then, that the working group get some information, Mr. Gripe, since you're on the working group as well,
Yes.
Madam Chair? There was to absolutely rule out and a professional, not just an architect, but somebody, an arborist that would rule out the front yard.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, so we have a ding, 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 ding.
And
Right,
we'll
we can
send
work
that, we'll get that in writing and we'll send that out to
That
you,
would-
sir, for your committee.
That would be great. I think, does that sound like a thing for the committee, at least to work on that part of it? And Mr. Shepro, is this a point of
No.
information to give us something?
No,
Yeah.
yes, I have a 146-year-old American elm tree on my property, which I have photographed and which is currently under the care of a certified arborist. And I would be happy to provide to the working group pictures that will show you what it will look like when we're not around.
To me, that sounds valuable, but again,
That
ta-
sounds lovely.
to the working group, that sounds suitable. Then on the working group, we have Mr. Gripe. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'd be glad to ask the questions, but my understanding on the plaque was that the plaque and the tree are not to be separated. In other words, you can't put the tree in the front and the plaque in the back or other way around or,
Clarify that somehow.
yeah, I'll,
That was
we'll get to
requested,
that.
that was requested.
Unless you were
They,
to
they'd be
change-
together, wherever they're at.
Yep.
I thought they were supposed to be at the courthouse.
Well, that was requested at the court, the plaque, they were going to have it out in front by the cannon, but they would like it together, the two together.
Okay, so there's like,
The wording of the resolution, I believe that the board adopted, approved their proposal, which was that the plaque and the tree would go together at the Third Street Courthouse. I don't think it's specified where at the Third Street Courthouse.
oh, it did include the Third Street Courthouse.
But it
so that
definitely
may
was-
eliminate
they were
the
together.
forest preserve. Just saying. Just trying to get all the information out that we can here before we starve to death. Because nobody's buying sandwiches today, apparently. Did I see, Mr. Pennises, did you have your hand up? Can you-
I did, but I think Ken kind of addressed it if in what Madam Chair said regarding DAR, approving this only for the Third Street Courthouse, well, that kind of limits our options as far as like exploring other sites. So, yeah, that's basically it.
So can we turn this back? Are we coming full circle on this to get it back to with the questions we need to have answers? Now, I just been listening here. So do we have action items that
The
that you
arborist,
can
we're
get
gonna
us
get
back that
from
information and
the
maybe
arborist.
Savannah can help us with that too?
We have a picture of a 150-year-old
Well,
tree.
more importantly, we have an arborist that knows how to
Arborist.
deal with the 150-year-old tree and whether that'll survive maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I
that's
would
more
just like,
information.
Mr. Chair, for
Yes,
your question.
Ms. Gums,
I-
yes?
Action items, I would just like to see, if that can thrive in the front as originally proposed and voted on, that's where I think it needs to be. I think the
I'm
front of
sorry,
our building is,
I didn't hear what you said. Excuse me?
for
You'd like
your
to see-
action items.
Yeah,
I just think that, I would like to see if that would survive in the front as originally proposed to the board, because I think the building in the front was I mean, it's beautiful. It's a great
that's
spot
an,
for it.
that's an
That's my
action item
opinion.
then. Yes.
Yes,
I
so
think we've
I would
got that
like
as
to
an
see
action
if it
item.
can thrive there.
Absolutely. That's something we want to rule out before we go to the parking lot. That wasn't our first choice, the parking lot, I think.
Yep.
Or
No,
the groups.
thanks. That's all I
Okay.
need. Thanks.
And then we have to see if the parking lot's going to be suitable. And then we have to see if there's a link with the forest preserve and the plaque and the tree as opposed to at the
Not
courthouse. No?
forest preserve, no for, and it's a separate, I mean, from my vantage.
Well, I'm
point,
talking about separate, I'm talking about action items.
action
We need to
item,
pin those down. If
planting,
it can go in the forest preserve or not go in the forest preserve, or does it have to go to the,
and that would have to be a separate resolution because the Kane County Government Board accepted it. The Forest Preserve is
Oh.
a separate taxing entity with a separate jurisdiction. It has
Well,
nothing to do.
there's a
related
point
to-
there then, okay?
And I would love to be able to see it within the county jurisdiction.
Within the county, the county governments, well, that's what we have jurisdiction over, that's sure enough.
And it
That's
is,
what
it is
accepted.
also because of the court system and establishing Kane County, the Forest Preserve was a lovely addition to it
Okay.
separately.
All right, so we have some action items. Does anybody feel left out on this here? Are we going forward and getting our information put in?
I'll just,
suitably?
if I may, Mr. Chair, I'll just offer to anybody on the committee, if you think of something after you get out of here, call me, text me, email me.
And then if you think it's pertinent to share with the members of this committee, please do that.
Okay, absolutely.
Can we-
Mr. Chair, I would make the suggestion that anything discussed in that ad hoc meeting is shared with us because
Absolutely.
this took all of us by surprise. And had we maybe been alerted to these things, we could have had a chance to get our questions more precisely targeted so that we wouldn't be having these really long discussions. So
This, if I may.
First discussion, none of them will be that long again.
This has been very, this has just all been happening. So we got to the point where there is a effective discussion to bring to all of you because it was very much conceptual of where this could be and where it could be identified. So it was conceptual and now it's being brought forward to this committee because this would be the first step to move all of this forward.
I agree. I think this is a good, very good first step if we're all now informed up to this level and now can go forward. Any other questions, comments? Are we pretty good? No hands raised online? Then I would bring up old business discussion policy, the procedures, disposition of sale, Kane County's real property. Is there much of a discussion? We hope not.
So this is Roger Fonsack with IT and Buildings. We've been working with Assistant State's Attorney Steve Ford and Chris Weldon on the initial draft. As far as I know, the State's Attorney's Office is still working on that, and I don't have an update other than maybe if Mr. Ford, if you have anything else to offer.
Nothing to offer? That's short enough? Okay, questions? Yes, Ms. Juby.
that's not exactly what I meant when I said I was going to be bringing up the Phase 2 solar that was done at Fabian. So my question that I want to ask is who authorized a Phase 2 environmental on a piece of property that we have not discussed. It was mentioned in the E&E that they were going to go, they had done a phase 1 on Fabian and they were headed to a phase 2, which I was quite shocked to hear that in a meeting when we hadn't even seen that at admin.
Sorry, I forgot that too. Yeah.
That's okay. That's the whole thing I wanted to talk about because it came up in another committee and I don't understand how that can happen, where they can spend money and it didn't go through finance or admin.
Do you have?
So
something?
the original phase 1 was done when they did the demolition of the fuel center and the building that was on the property, probably, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. That was the phase 1 in order to remove the underground storage tanks. The result of a phase 1 is that there's documented things in whether it's deeds or construction plans or history, that there's things on that property that might be a requirement for further investigation. So during a meeting that the board had regarding, I think it was a committee of the whole, they had a meeting to talk about the potential of solar on Fabian. And in that meeting, the board members were contemplating whether or not the site had any other issues with it, whether it was related to, there's a berm where they used to use for the sheriff's office. There was a gun range. There's the underground storage tanks. At that time, I was asked by Jody Wolnick from Environmental Water Resources to get a proposal from a company to do the phase 2. So we have asked one architect engineering firm to get us a proposal. And then we asked the people that did the phase 1 to give us a proposal for a phase 2 analysis. It has gone no further than that, other than asking them to give us the proposal for the actual phase 2. So my understanding was that that proposal was going to be brought back to the board eventually in discussion about the Fabian property, whether or not to go forward with a phase 2 environmental study of the property. But there's been no requisition, purchase order, contract agreement, or otherwise, just a proposal for doing the phase 2. The initial proposal we've received back was, I think, around $20-some thousand to do the phase 2. And then the second proposal, we're still waiting. The second proposer wanted to talk to the sheriff about some of the uses on the property, and we're still waiting to get the second proposal even.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Juby?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when that comes back, where we have however many we have, what committee does it go to?
It would come here.
So perhaps you're not able to discuss why it was discussed in EE, saying they were going ahead and doing it, because that's what they stated in a public meeting, that they were going ahead and doing that. So you're telling me that it doesn't matter what they say, it still has to come back through here.
To me, it's your property as the board, and that's a pretty significant study to
Right.
understand what's wrong with a potential property, has a lot of risk associated with it. So to me, I think that's something that we would bring to administration committee first. We would not execute something like that. I don't know if E&E or environmental had plans to do that outside of that process, but I believe we talked to Jody Wolnick about, the cost didn't seem that bad. Is this what the county needs? They were talking about the uses of solar and other things. But certainly, once we get the proposals back, we can bring them to administration and you can look at what they're talking about studying. And depending on the disposition of the property, which is certainly the purview of this committee, we could make a determination. What does the board want to do? But that's something that has yet to be done. So
I'm just trying to figure out order of operations.
Yeah.
So as chair of ag, can I ask for a phase 1 on that property that we're leasing out on 38?
you could ask us to get a proposal for it. We would go get one.
How could I, as a chair, ask you to go do something that's going to spend money without getting anybody else involved in it?
We don't spend money to get just a quote or a proposal. We do that. I mean, this didn't cost us any money to get a proposal for this. It was,
But the expectation then is that we're going to do something.
I don't,
Right. And I just have a philosophical disagreement
It's
with
more
how a chair of
philosophical
one
than practical.
committee can
Yeah.
suggest we take an action without the permission of the
It
full
it
board.
came out of that committee of the whole. There was a discussion about getting a phase two. I know, I believe Mavis Bates was involved and Jody about we could get a phase two and they wanted to know how much it would cost. So we simply sought proposals. That was the only part that we did. And what the process for that is submitting the phase one to these companies and asking them to propose to do the actual study as opposed to just kind of the discovery process. So I would imagine my effort in that has been maybe less than an hour of just getting them the proposal, answering a few questions, and they submitted I think it's a little over $20,000. I think the initial proposal, but we haven't acted on it, done anything with it.
And it came up in the committee of the whole, which they were talking about the solar on, was that what?
No, it came up in E&E. Committee in the whole doesn't have a vote. So it came up in environmental
Yeah.
where they voted to go ahead and do a phase two.
They voted?
Was a
I'm
resolution?
pretty sure they did. They
I
talked
don't
about it.
recall a resolution, but I've got a really short memory in a lot of cases. So, but that's. we're
But
finding
I
out.
don't know if it was a resolution or not.
find
My
that.
whole point is I just want to know what our process is when we go forward and what power one committee has to drive something. That's all I want to know. I just,
Sure. And I
you
think
know,
we face that all the time, not to, that's kind of a deep subject because it is more philosophical. Because
that's what I said. I have a
as a committees,
philosophical
We do have some give and take because
issue with that.
some directors do more than one committee that.
Right.
And topics like the solar may. overlap
Hence the
with
reason
property.
why I brought it up
Yeah.
here.
Yes. Okay. Well, have you been suitably, does this sound like it was?
Uh,
Can we find out?
I got
that
the
final
answer to my question. I don't know that I'm happy with my answer.
Okay. Well, we want to make you
Gums
happy.
has her hand up,
Oh.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, let's go with Gums then for that one, and then Madam Chair.
Thank
then,
you. Just quick question, because I'm a little confused. When I read the agenda, I thought we were going to talk about the policies, and I would like to get back to that here because, but now we have another issue, and we have, clarify me if I'm incorrect here, but when we're talking in administration about all of our real property, when we determine what to do with that, it comes to our committee. And we determine whether or not it's surplus property, whether we want to lease it, whether we want to get rid of it. That's already a process that's in the county code, the Illinois state statute. So that part that's why I was going to ask about that. Are we trying to create a new policy in how we handle the sale, lease, or otherwise of our property? Is that what we're trying to do here? But now we also have I have a follow-up question, because if we're doing something outside of this committee with real land and property, that's problematic as well, because it doesn't follow what we should be doing, which is determining here in this committee if it's surplus land and what we want to do with it.
I think that's what we were working on was a plan, and I can refer to Ms. Juby on that because you were.
Well, we have a state
point person.
statute.
I was working with those.
And
State's
we're working with
attorney's
state's attorney.
office.
State's attorney said we really haven't gone, what did the state's attorney say?
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chair.
don't want to speak for you, Mr. Ford.
As Stephen Ford from the State Attorney's Office, as to the discussion about just a general procedure for disposition of property, the high level overview is, I believe there should be something down. It's just a matter of, does the board want that to be committed by resolution or committed by ordinance such that it's part of the county code? What the components are of that policy, I think would be the same. It's just how the board wants to go about adopting it. That's certainly something that our office can work to continue to present a draft or something. I know a couple meetings ago, we had shared certain components that would be important, and that's what we're trying to work in. So I can take it back to our office that there's a desire for the committee to have a draft that can be reviewed at next
I
meeting.
believe there was a desire.
Well, and it's, Steve's being modest. It's very close. It's,
Oh, okay.
from my understanding, it's determining how it's presented. Is it presented as an ordinance or a resolution? And that's where we were having
Oh, okay.
conversation. But what the draft I saw, I think is almost very ready to be presented to the board.
I would agree with that. The recommendation would be, sharing what it entails and then getting the feedback from the committee. And the board, do you want this to be an ordinance or a resolution? Because that would change
Oh,
what
do
it
we
looks
need to
like.
I'm sorry, do we need to bring that? Because I haven't seen it, so
I have
I
not-
should be
I have
upset
not
that I
seen
haven't been informed about this. The-
It's because it's with them.
The, that was a joke. The, right, so you,
them.
or do we, is it a consensus of the committee to have some sort of a, either resolution or do we want to define it as a resolution or a ordinance right now?
I do have a quick question, Chair,
And I
to your
have-
point.
yeah, please.
To this point?
Yes.
Yes?
So to your question, Mr. Chair, are we doing a resolution and ordinance creating a policy? I'm just want to clarify that.
Okay. Good question.
Are we creating this, is this a new policy? And is it going to build on the already current Illinois state statute?
Then Mr. Ford will answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ms. Gomes. Essentially, it would be the county, using the word policy, the county would be deriving its authority from the state statute to implement a procedure for how it would dispose of real estate it owns. So policy
But
is
it's
kind of how I'm
already there.
describing it, but yeah, it's just, implementing the specifics of how we would exercise our power given to us by state statute.
Okay, I just don't want to beat a dead horse. If it's already state statute, then we should just follow that. I don't want to waste your.
We have to, would that be redundant to say that would not follow the state statute? We almost have to follow state statute of some sort, right?
The county would be following state statute. It's just there are certain elements of it that the county could, provide
The
further
procedure.
clarification for how the procedure would work.
How to, the
Yes.
procedure, but we'd still be following. Does that
Like
answer your
our-
question, Ms. Gums?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just wanted to clarify. I'm confused on the two different issues here. But I was thinking policy, so I did my homework on policy, and I just want to make sure that we're not we're not doubling up on something that's already there. I don't know why we keep doing that. It seems like we keep doing that. We have a
Okay.
policy under the statute, and now we need an ordinance because apparently, I don't know, but maybe we do. I am all for it. I'll look at it. I look forward to seeing it. Great. Good work.
Something will be coming from the state's attorney for the committee.
Yeah.
And more clarification here?
Yes. Just Shepro, State's Attorney's Office. State statutes often give you broad authority, but the way that you implement that authority often requires more detail at the local level. And I think that's what we're talking about here, is to not just have a state statute that we have to figure out what it means to our group. Is that, Steve, is that
Well, and
accurate?
not wanting to make this a record-long meeting, I don't know what the record-long meeting, maybe that's what your hand up was for, just to see if we're getting a record-long meeting for a committee.
Can-
Madam Chair, did you have your hand up, Roth?
Yes,
So,
I did.
Madam Chair first and then.
Yes, thank you so much. With this policy, I would like this committee and then potentially the board to entertain, instead of disposing it for private use, to have a donation included in that, if the board would approve it, as a land bank, which would allow us to donate property. Perhaps we have land that is in excess, so that it could be used for certain kinds of housing, like workforce housing. DuPage County has such an entity, and they've been very, very successful with allowing middle-class housing to be developed on that property. It saves developers quite a bit of land. And there is just a survey that is going out. I just saw this today by the state, asking for community input about what the state of their housing needs are, because there's a big directive to move that forward. So I would like this committee to see, as we start putting together that
We're
policy.
losing our quorum right now. Thank you for that input. And I'm going to ask for unanimous consent for place the reports on file.
Super reports on file, sorry.
Okay. No objection, then we don't have executive session and we're losing our quorum.
I'm right
so-
behind her, so.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And Roth to adjourn.
Second.
I think.
Okay, we have some action items. All in favor?
Thanks,
Items.
everybody. I appreciate
you.
your answering my questions.
Sure. Well, that's kind of what we're supposed to be doing here. Committee process.
we'll do it offline, but there is an issue too I was going to bring up.
Okay,